Just waiting for a few people to get on. Tonight we're gonna do a little Q&A while I do hi Janelle. While I do some would you rather again. So again, I am on you're gonna see me going back and forth here because I have YouTube open on one and then I have TikTok open on another. And so you're just gonna see me going back and forth. So I'm just going to do some would you rather questions again while we do some Tourette Syndrome Q&A. And it should be a good time. It was a good time last time, so seemed to create a lot of talk in the discussion. A lot of discussion. Some of the questions were really weird. So there was that, but we'll see how it goes this time. Oh, Janelle. Thank you. My shirt is my one tick at a time short. If I could talk, it would make these lives a lot easier. This is in my shop. Actually, this one might not be live anymore, so I'll have to go in and redo it to make sure it's live for everybody. But yeah, this is my buffalo plaid one tick at a time sweatshirt. It's one of my favorites. Beautiful smile and the great energy. Thank you. Hi, Mandy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just jump into it today. I was hoping that I would be able to have the Cavs game on in my room, but our stupid DVR box is being dumb. But anyway, so let's do some would you rather's. Hi to everybody. Hi everybody on YouTube as well and my TikTok. One of these days, I'm just gonna pay for a thing so I can go live on everything, but for now, this is what we get. So, all right. So these would you rather questions. So this is just a game that I have. I haven't never, I don't think, actually played this game for real, but I was asking these questions last time while I just kind of opened up the floor as well. So you guys can ask questions that you have about my life with Tourette Syndrome, about just Tourette Syndrome in general, while I go through these two. And please definitely share your answers in what you would rather do as well. I thought this was a great conversational piece last time because I hate just sitting on live and not having anything to say if people don't actually have questions for me. So I thought this one was a good way to kind of mix it up a little bit. So their categories are pain, fear, and discomfort, appearance/embarrassment, ethics/intellect, and random. So the last time some of these were really, really weird. So we'll see how it goes this time. So the first one is pain, fear, or discomfort. And this one's another long one. That's another thing too. Some of them are really long. Untangle a knot of fishing line the size of a golf ball, or be forced to remove all the burrs, foxtail seeds, and other weeds that have caught in 20 pairs of thoroughly covered socks. If the socks weren't used, I think I would go with the second one. Simple question. What are you passionate about? Oh man. I am passionate about spreading Tourette Syndrome awareness. I am passionate about my family and the things that I believe in. And I am passionate about my dogs and being a dog mom. It's my favorite thing on the planet. So that's a nice question. But all right, Janelle said fishing line because the other one sounds too complicated. It does sound complicated, but I'm thinking about how thin fishing line is and how I've tried to get things off a fishing line before and it being a pain. So that's the only reason why I would pick the other one. Although, like I said, if it's used socks, bleh, I have a thing against feet. I hate them. Borderline phobia. Probably hate them so much. So the next one is appearance/embarrassment. So, always wear a belt of caution tape, the yellow tape with caution in big black letters, or always wear a small tree-shaped car air freshener as a necklace. I think the tree-shaped car air freshener because you can tuck it in And I guess it would make you smile, smell better. I don't know. Weird. Hi, everybody. Thank you for the hearts. Mandy, thank you for making sure my name is spelled correctly. Air freshener, yes. It was a weird question. You were correct. Air freshener smell good. Now, I just want to again make sure everybody knows I didn't come up with these questions. This came in a game, so I'm just going with what it was in here. So, but we'll go ahead and go to the next one. Maybe I'll just try to find ones that are good, but I just didn't want it to be weird and quiet in here. So yeah. Some of these are really weird. I need to like find other ones. Car freshener earrings. There you go. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Just listen to the last one of these today. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here. Just listen to these today at work and wanted another one. Well, I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, I was gonna do it tomorrow, but I should do French trivia. Mom, that is a really good idea. I'm gonna do that next time. Although I almost feel like somebody has to be asking me the questions because, well, no, I should do that too. I have some friends, I think Trivial Pursuit questions or something. That's a really good idea. Or I can Google some, I guess. All right. Would you rather have the ability of 10 athletes or the knowledge of 10 scholars? You should, but it'd be a bit rigged. Yes, Mandy, you are correct. I would, Janelle, what? How, Jana, how are we such good friends and I didn't know you've never watched Friends? Whew. This is a lot to put on me right now. I would rather have the ability. I'm the opposite on everybody, but I think I'd rather have the ability of 10 athletes, but that's because I've always loved being athletic growing up. So I would like to have it. I've seen Living Single, and the creator of Friends said he got the inspiration from that. Well, then there you go. Watch it, report back to me. Don't report back after the very first episode because it's not as good as the rest of them, but you should watch it. It's on HBO Max. It's very, very good. I also live with Tourette's. Do you have any situations that make you tick? Oh, boy, do I. Situations that make me tick. Let me think of some of my top ones for you. Example, the subway makes you tick. Only if I watch. Janelle, you got yourself a deal. I will do that. Where can I watch it at? Let me know. But situations that make me tick for sure. So my husband and I, we go to Cavs games a lot. So I'm in Northeast Ohio. And when I go to Cavs games, I tend to tick a lot when I am walking around the arena, the concourse, because there's so many people around, and I think like my brain and my body knows that, and so I don't know, it just kicks my ticks into high gear. I think I get overstimulated. There's so many people, and so many just noises and everything else, and the nerves. So I have a foot kicking tick that I do almost every single time that I walk, and I do it a lot in those types of situations because it's a situation where I don't want to be doing it. And so therefore I'm nervous. And so I start doing it. And then because I'm nervous, I'm going to kick somebody in front of me and you never know how somebody's going to react to that. So that's the type of situation that has, that triggers my ticks. Anytime I'm over stressed or overly stressed, that'll be it as well. So that can make me also start ticking more. So there's that. Stress, emotions. Emotions are a huge trigger of mine. So you can watch on Hulu or HBO Max. I know. Okay, you got yourself a deal. Mandy, you're right. I do have a new Peloton show. I've been trying to do these shows because Peloton, I don't know if anybody here uses it, but they have entertainment stuff now, and I've been trying to find shows for when I'm on the treadmill or whatever I'm doing. I'm only allowed to watch it when I'm on the treadmill, and so that way it keeps me going back for more, and it keeps me, on it a little bit longer too. How long have you been married? I have been married for 10 years, almost 10 and a half years. September 7th, 2013 is when we got married. So we are going on year 11 this year, but we have been together for, we'll be going on year 15 this year. So we've been together for quite some time. Good question. Yeah, stress and excitement is a big trigger for me. Like, I used to take like crazy on Christmas as a kid. Me too. Christmas has always been one of my biggest trigger holidays. Christmas and 4th of July. I know they seem very opposite of each other, but Christmas is 4th of July is a huge it's a huge holiday in my family. My dad does really cool fireworks. It's a big thing. My husband actually proposed to me on 4th of July. So, or at the 4th of July party. It was actually July 2nd. 2011. And so that one's a big day for me. But Christmas for me was always a crazy tick day as well. And just Christmas time, it ramps up my tick. So I definitely know how you're feeling. Oh man, Mandy, an hour and 45 minutes in. Jeez, oh man. Did I wear a white dress on my wedding day? Yes, I did. Yeah, good question. I love answering questions about, well, Tourette syndrome and my husband and my marriage. All right, so I'm going to go to another would you rather question. And that is, I don't like those ones. Let's see. So would you rather always feel like you almost have to sneeze or have everything that touches you tickle? Neither. A draw. Yeah, those are both really terrible. I guess I feel, oh, that sounds like a good Tourette question. Yeah, because both I feel like the feeling like you almost have to sneeze. Sometimes I do kind of use that every once in a while when I'm trying to teach people about Tourette syndrome, when I'm trying to teach them about tics and stuff. You can kind of feel that pressure building inside of your body before you have it happen. So, I mean, I guess technically, kind of, sort of, I already live with something similar. I guess the tickle I could laugh a lot, but sneeze is annoying. But the tickling would be annoying too because you don't necessarily. It's not like a good laugh necessarily when you're being tickled. So I don't know. Not being able to complete the sneeze though would bother me. Let's see. Getting a question over here. How do you tell the difference between a tick and a habit? Well, for me, a tick is something that you cannot control whatsoever. It's not a habit that I have. It is something I can't help. No matter what, it's coming out. Even if I can suppress it for like a minuscule amount of time, it's going to find its way out of my body no matter what. A habit you can like redirect and all of these things, and you can change your habits and everything else. I can't, or possibly make your habits go away, like bad habits and stuff. I cannot make my tics go away. And a tick has a premonitory urge as well. Yeah. So a tick, that pressure that I was kind of explaining for like the comparison to the sneeze, is I feel this pressure that like gets built up in my body, depending on what body part I'm moving or what body part I'm about to tick with. And so you feel that pressure building and building and building, and then it comes out. I have explained it by, hi Jordan. Oh, I haven't talked to you in so long. Hi. I've always compared to ticking to an itch, like you can try not to scratch it, but eventually you got to do it. Yes, I've used that too, and how like if the more you think about that itch, the itchier it seems like to become. And then I've also used, I've done this in a video. I talked about this in a video on YouTube a while back, where I've just compared it to shaking up like a pop bottle. So this urge that fills inside of you, especially when you're suppressing, for me, I should say, especially when you're suppressing, I always like to say for me, because I never want it to seem like we're all the same, because we all can feel things differently. So when you shake that bottle pop, you see the fizz rising and rising and rising, and then when you crack that bottle open, it's going to the bottle it's going to explode everywhere. And the longer that you shake that bottle up and more pressure is going to come out, or the more pressure that builds, the more it's going to explode, the bigger the explosion is going to be. And it can be very, very similar with ticks. And that's how I've explained that, because I feel this urge and this pressure in my body when I'm trying not to tick. And I'll eventually, my pop top, I guess, explodes and all my ticks come out. And most of the time for me, it leads to tick attacks, or at least really, really bad tick nights. It's a pressure feeling. The only way to relieve it is to just do it. Yes. My premonitory urge has a similar feeling to when something sour hits your mouth. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I've learned so much about Tourette syndrome from you over the years on YouTube first. Oh, thank you. Thanks for following me on over here too. That means so much. I see a question too. Isn't it so much easier just to let the tick out? Yes, this is true depending on the situation. So letting the tick out isn't necessarily always as easy as it seems, and it's also not necessarily under that person's control either. So I want to be clear about that. So letting the tick out, obviously, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to have happen every single, like, in a perfect world, that's what I would just do every single time. And when I'm at home, those ticks do come out. They come out a lot. And but when I'm in a public place, my first instinct, not even like consciously, subconsciously, my first instinct is to suppress those ticks so that I don't appear weird, or I'm not made fun of or mocked or ridiculed, videotaped, all of these other things that happen, laughed at, because it's a very uncomfortable feeling, or stared at, because unfortunately a lot of people, when you're out in public, they think that you can't see them staring at you for some reason. And as a person with something like Tourette syndrome, at least, once again, at least for me, um, it's like I got a radar. I can always tell when these people are staring at me, or at least for the most part. Not 100% accurate radar, but I can tell a lot of the times. And most of the time, people also aren't as discreet as they think they are. So people stare. There was one time a couple years back, and I talked about this too, and maybe I'll make another video about it because I don't even remember how long ago it was. But my husband and I were playing putt putt or mini golf, whatever you want to call it. And it's something we do quite often together. It's something we get very competitive with each other on as well. And it was obviously in public, and I have a foot kicking tick and slash like a foot like hopping tick. It's kind of a little bit of both. So I would like hop on one foot and kick this down on the ground, hop on this foot, kick this down on the ground, because the OCD, or the Tourettic OCD part of Tourette syndrome also, because of that, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I have to even it out on both sides. So that's where that OCD also kind of comes hand in hand with Tourette syndrome. So, and that's the part of it that I have. And so I was doing that, and it was kind of very big and boisterous, because I couldn't help it. I was hopping to one foot, kicking the other one, hopping the other foot, kicking to that one. And I could see people from a couple like holes, like greens away from the putt-putt thing, and still to this day, like, I swear that they were laughing at me. And now if I was 1000% sure, I would have said something, because it's not unlike me to open my mouth, especially if I feel like people are being dumb. But I wasn't 1000% sure, and I didn't want to look like the idiot, so I didn't. However, they kept like whispering to each other, and then I swear they were like looking over at me, and then they were laughing. And let me tell you, it felt like crap. So much so that it was the very first thing I said to my husband when we got in the car, that I sat down and I was like, I think those people were laughing at me. And even as an adult, like, this was just a couple years ago, as an adult, that still hurts, and it still makes a difference. So, and that's another reason why I advocate so much, and why I say that we need better representation. And I advocate the way that I do, because I hope that that can stop happening. I know that people don't understand what they don't understand, and I don't expect everybody to know everything about Tourette syndrome, but or just know that a person's ticking when they're out in public and doing something quote unquote weird with their body. This light is making a really red mark on my nose. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I don't know what's on my nose. Anyways, so yeah, people stare. And that's another reason why somebody might not always just let the tick out, because you don't know how people are going to react. And especially if you say things and you say stuff that seems inappropriate to people, that's where some people can be put in dangerous situations. So not always letting them out. It's not as easy as it seems. Looking at some questions I have over here too. My kids don't always get the sensation before every one of their ticks. I actually don't either. I don't get it every single time. A lot of my smaller ticks, I don't get that. My ticks just happen and I don't feel the urge. For me, I would say that the premonitory urge, it happens a lot more with some of my bigger and more complex ticks. A lot of my simpler ticks, they're happening with sometimes without even my knowledge, depending on how intrusive it is to what I'm doing. So they're not alone in that either. Your fans love you no matter what. You're inspiring. You are very, very sweet. Thank you. Trying to go back through here. When you tick, has it ever caused you to pull a muscle? Or chip a tooth? Not chip a tooth, however. So pull a muscle, yes. The amount of muscles that I have pulled from my ticks, astronomical probably, if you add them all up, especially in my neck and my back. And because this neck tick that I have, I feel like my neck muscles are just in my shoulder muscles. They're always just so tense that I pull muscles often. And it's not always just from ticks, but I have pulled muscles multiple times. I have hurt my ankles. I've hurt my feet. I've hurt my hands. The other day we were just in the store and I was ticking where I have these ticks where it can be labeled as like a dystonic tick, which means I have to hold that body movement for a long period of time. It almost has to hurt in order for it to feel complete. And so I was doing that with my foot. So my foot's sitting, okay, so I'll do it this way. So my foot's like sitting like this on the ground and I have to tilt it to the side and hold it for a certain amount of time. And I hurt my ankle pretty badly when I did it. I shouldn't say pretty badly. It's not like I sprained it, anything like that. It just, something didn't feel right and it hurt. And because of that, it kept hurting even more when I ticked and I kept having to tick. So kind of the pain that I got from doing it, that injury, I'll say, but not really, that I got, it almost triggered me to have to do the tick even more. So yeah. But no, I have not chipped a tooth. However, I clench my jaw a lot, and I don't necessarily think that's tick related necessarily. In my sleep, I've always kind of wondered if it was, but I have gotten TMJ in my mouth and had to get a bite guard for a while. Good questions. Oh yeah, Janelle, the headaches. Ugh. I get such bad tension headaches right up here from this neck tick that I have, because there's certain times where it's almost like my neck can't go back far enough for it to feel correct, for my tick to be right. And it's really painful. Humans can be so cruel. You got that right. Did you have any event that caused your Tourette's to manifest? Mine started when I got meningitis. No, not that I'm aware of. I was about 5 or 6 when I started having showing tics and showing symptoms of Tourette, or signs of Tourette syndrome. So nothing that I am aware of, but good question. Seem like such a sweetheart. I could never laugh at you. Thank you. Sorry you guys have to deal with that. Thank you. Yes, it is why we advocate. The neck and back muscle stuff has got to be so painful. Do you use any creams or something like that? Yes, I use, actually, it's right on, because I'm in my bedroom, it's right on my nightstand. Biofreeze. This is my best friend when my neck is hurting really, really badly. I put as much as I possibly can on my neck and wait for it to hopefully kick in. And it does help. It helps, especially because I can put it all over, especially this one, because it's a roll-on one. So I can really put a lot on it and I don't have to touch it with my fingers. So yeah, I use this. Not really any other creams, but I do take baths every once in a while a lot. Um, and I use those with like the magnesium and Epsom salt, all that stuff. I've been taking magnesium every single day, and that seems to help with some of my muscle soreness as well. Do you have I'm looking at some questions over on YouTube too, so I'm trying to mix it both. Do you have a favorite tick? Oddly, I do, and it's my whistle tick. I don't know if I have a favorite tick, honestly. I don't think I do. I can't whistle. I can only whistle every once in a while. I'm not a consistent whistler, so I don't have it'd be really crazy for me to get a whistle tick, and if I did have one, that might be because then maybe I'd be able to whistle more often. Um, but no, I don't think so. I'll keep thinking about that though, because I don't think I have a favorite tick. Um, no. If one pops up, I'll let you know. Do you find any of your ticks to feel comforting or completing? For a very split second. That's a really I wish that was an easier way to answer that, but yes and no. Like when I do the tick initially, it almost feels like that completeness and that comfort. But unfortunately, that doesn't last very long. That need to tick again and that urge or that pressure that I feel, it almost every single time, 99.99% of the time, it comes right back. But there is a split second of that completeness, especially if like I was messing up the tick, how I was talking about earlier with my OCD and stuff, them kind of competing against each other. If I mess it up and I have to do it again, but then that time I do it right. I keep using quotes because I don't there's not a wrong way, right or wrong way to tick, and I don't want that to be the impression. But that's when I'll feel that every once in a while. Chanel Biofreeze, please sponsor us. Yes, please. I will promote your products. I actually have a video talking about how I use this product right here. So Biofreeze, hit me up if you want me to talk it up because I will. Can you talk about the difficulties advocating for yourself at work or in other similar situations? Whew, loaded question right now, but yes. So advocating for myself in other places can be really difficult. Because especially at work, because you never know how people are going to react. You never know if they're going to believe you, if they have ever dealt with somebody with Tourette syndrome before, and how you bring it up. Because sometimes you want to make sure that you bring it. For me, one of the more difficult parts for me is that going back to that, I subconsciously suppress, or there's ways that a lot of us with Tourette syndrome have found ways to kind of mask our ticks. So when I have my neck stretching ticks, a lot of times, like if I'm at work and I have not disclosed about my Tourette syndrome yet, I will put my hand on my neck specifically to make it just look like I'm stretching. And even if I have disclosed, I will still do that out of just pure habit almost, just because I'm so used to making I'm so used to wanting to make sure other people feel comfortable around me and that I'm not like that weird girl who can't sit still and can't not move her neck back. I don't want to get labeled as that or anything. But so there's so many times where people haven't really realized they've seen me tick. I actually just recorded a video about this yesterday. It'll be posted at some point. But that can be hard to bring it up after that fact, because if I don't bring it up right away, for me, it's much harder to bring it up. But for me, something that I believe in when I am disclosing at work or I'm advocating for myself at work or other places, I like to bring it up as casually as possible. And that can be difficult because sometimes there's a hard time. Sometimes, unfortunately, the time where it comes up is that somebody makes a Tourette syndrome joke, and I have to be like, hey, just so you know, I actually have Tourette syndrome. And it gets really weird for a little bit, and I don't say it in a mean way, usually, but if I do hear people saying that and I haven't disclosed it, I feel obligated to say that because one, I don't want to hear the jokes continue, and two, the jokes shouldn't be happening anyway. But it can be really hard that way, so I try to bring it up naturally. For me, one way that I do it is I put some of my advocating stuff on my resume, and so that way it's already out in the open right from the beginning, and then if that way, if it comes up within the top discussion of an interview or something like that, it is already right there, and I can already bring it up and talk about it, and I've found that the more casually I talk about it, the more open people are to receiving it. Because if I feel like if I'm just like, oh, oh, by the way, I have Tourette syndrome. Sometimes I can move around a little bit. I might need a couple more breaks than usual. I feel that they receive it a lot more comfortably. However, sometimes I think that the way that I carry myself, and this is not like me trying to have like a low key compliment for myself, because if you know me, that's not me. Um, but I think sometimes people get the wrong idea and they don't think that I actually struggle. And that can be a really big problem because if I didn't appear to be having a bad day yesterday or any time leading up to it, I could be working alongside you for years and never have a really bad day at work because a lot of the times that doesn't happen until I get home or unfortunately in the car on the way home. And that can be really difficult. And that's why for me and for a lot of people with Tourette syndrome, they prefer at home work because we can take in peace. And that can be really difficult for companies to understand. And a lot of places and a lot of employers sometimes don't understand that maybe I didn't need the help the day before, but now all of a sudden I need the help now. And that can be hard for them to get because people just don't always understand that disabilities, especially Tourette syndrome, can ebb and flow. And I would say that that's one of the really hard parts about advocating at work for myself. Really good question. Do you follow Balin Dupree? Any opinion on her content? Yes, I do follow Balin. I love her content. I actually also recorded a video about this yesterday. I've been trying to record videos, multiples in one day, so I can make sure I continue to keep bringing consistent content this year. So, but that'll come out eventually too. I think her content is good, and I think it's very, very important that you would follow her as well as me, as well as other advocates like Janelle Bean. She is on this live, a good friend of mine, but she is also another amazing advocate. And it's so important to follow different advocates because Tourette syndrome presents so differently for everybody with it. And only following one person, only following me, for example, not that I think anybody only follows me, but only doing that, it gives you the wrong idea of Tourette syndrome, really. I'm not saying that what I show isn't real. It's very, very real. However, a lot of people think that every single person with Tourette syndrome is supposed to look the same, they're supposed to sound the same, they're supposed to have the same tics. Definitely not true. That's not how it works. And that's why I think it's so important. So, yeah, I do follow her. I also think she's like freaking gorgeous, too. So, I think her content is good. Thank you for answering your question. You're welcome. Hi, Scott. Let me know if you want me to mod some of the odd comments. I don't know if I'm seeing them, if they're getting that odd. They might be automatically filtered for me. I'm not sure. So maybe you guys are seeing something that I'm not. Never mind. I think I just saw one. Anyway, shout out to your husband. He seems like such a supportive and sweet guy. You're a lucky girl. I'm a very lucky girl. Uh, he is wonderful, and he is my best friend, and I'm not just saying that because I know he's on now. Um, I'm a very lucky and blessed girl. Yeah, I'm seeing some of the weird comments now. I don't even know how you have somebody moderate. How do I do that? Do I just click you guys? Morning in Indonesia. Hello. Hi, Scooter. How do I make... I don't know. I don't know how to make you people. Sorry, that came out ruder than I wanted it to. How to do that? I wonder if I just hold on your name? No. That was asking me to block you, and I don't want to do that. I don't know. I think, do I have to have one like ahead of time, maybe? I'm not sure. Does anybody know how to do that? I'll have to look it up. think you hold down their username. I thought I was trying that. It just says reply, pin, translate, mute, block, report. And I don't want to block or report, obviously. Settings. Moderators. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think I found it. All right. All right. I think I did it for you guys. I think I figured it out. Yeah, I think I did it. So, does anybody ever call your dad Mr. Bean? That's probably a joke you hear all the time. Can you see me? Hi, Shannon. Yes, I figured it out. Perfect. All right. So thank you guys for being on the lookout for those. I didn't even see them. So I'm glad I got you guys here to help. But these are some really, really great questions that you guys are asking. Keep them coming. I'm going to go back to one of these would you rathers while you guys do it. So again, I didn't come up with these weird would you rather questions. And so some of them are really odd. So I just want to, again, point that out. I didn't come up with that. Sorry. My bedroom is the warmest room in the house because why wouldn't it be? All right. So, some of these I really don't like. I'm just going to pick from the middle and hope for the best here. All right. So also, if you're loving hearing Brittany speak, you can request her to present at your event. I don't know if you guys know this, but Janelle is the friend that you have always wanted, and she is the hype woman for anybody, like the people that she cares about in her life, and I love her to pieces, and I wish you and I lived closer, Janelle, so that we could hang out all the time and just do these lives together all the time. Maybe next week you and I can do them together. All right, so all right, so this one's interesting, I think. Okay. All right, Janelle, we're gonna do it next week. Maybe we'll do, how about Janelle? I'm planning it right here with everybody on here. We should both look up like 10 like speed round questions and then, but not tell each other the other person. And then that way we can ask them to each other instead of would you rather questions, but we can do like questions like that. Janelle, number one hype queen. Yes, she is. I love her. And social media brought us together. It's like we've been friends our entire lives, but what did we meet? Like 3 years ago, maybe? I can't remember if it was during 2020 or before that. Time moves so stinking fast. Oh man, I just want everybody to see this. Does everybody see the wolf pups here? That's my husband saying, maybe I can do a live with you soon. You guys are all witnesses to this. And you guys are all witnesses. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Janelle. Yeah. Pinned his comment. Yes. You guys all saw that. My husband has been chosen to do it live. Did I see you do a dual live with Brittany on YouTube? It wasn't a live, but we did a Tourette talk together. That's actually how we started talking. I think I saw her share that she was on the Tourette's podcast, or it was a Tourette Association sharing her story. One of the two happened, and we started talking. She did a Tourette talk with me video on YouTube, and we've been really good friends like ever since. Do it, Scott. See, Scott, everybody loves you. They all want you in here. Yes, we have done dual lives though, and it sounds like we'll do one next week. So, all right. So I'm going to ask this one, would you rather, because I think it's really interesting. Have to learn to walk all over again or learn to write all over again? Because I love to write so much, I'm going to learn that, or I'm going to pick that I would rather learn how to walk all over again. Because I love to write, and that's one of my best like ways to get stuff out. And I don't think I could live without writing at all. And if I did know how to walk, I bet you I wouldn't know how to do my leg kicking tick, or at least I would hope not. So, I'm gonna go with learning how to walk all over again. Write again, write again. I have horrid handwriting. Listen, I don't like my handwriting. I hate my handwriting. However, I would love just the physical act of writing. Learn to write. I would assume learning to write is penmanship and not words. Yeah, I guess that's true. However, I guess I love the physical act of writing, so I don't know. I would like to walk, then I wouldn't have to work for a while. Ah, yeah, I'm with that one's a good one, Shannon, because I can always type. That's true too. I don't know, for me, I love to write whether I'm typing or writing, but it's not the same to just type for me, so I'd rather learn how to walk all over again. But I do hate my handwriting. My mother has my handwriting tattooed on her, and you can ask her if she's still on here. I asked her probably a billion times if she was absolutely positive that she wanted my handwriting on her arm. But that was my first tattoo. We got them together. We each wrote "I love you." So I have "I love you, Mom" on my side, and she has "I love you, Brittany" on her, and we each wrote it, obviously. So, and she put it on her arm, and I kept asking if she was absolutely sure that she wanted that handwriting on her arm. See, there she is. She loves it, and I love hers. So, but right for me, but Gillian Barr syndrome when I was 17 and was paralyzed and had to learn to walk. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. Mandy, I don't mind laying in bed. Yeah, for real. My brother must be jealous. Probably not. I love those tattoos. Thanks, Shannon. They're some of my favorite. That's one of my favorites. That would be my favorite, and then my book tattoo is also a favorite of mine. So, my next one I have planned, I'm going to get dog ears for my dog Izzy that we had to put down a couple years ago. I'm going to put it on my shoulder. Going to do the outline of her ears with a little halo on it, I think. And I'm going to put it on the back of my shoulder. So that's the next one I'm getting, one of these. These questions are so fun. I agree. Some of them are really weird, but some of them are good. I've been trying to just skim through them this time to make sure that they're not just odd, because some of them are crazy long. So okay, so here's one. This one's another long one. So, um, oh, thanks for the rose, Scott. Tiny Diny. Thank you, everybody. I did get gifts. Not used to that. All right, so this next one, it's a long one again, but so this one's just random category, and it is have a social phobia that will never again allow you to hug or kiss anyone, or have a social phobia that will never again allow you to look a person directly in the eye. I'm not gonna lie, I have trouble looking people in the eye sometimes when I talk to them, especially if I don't know them very well. So I'm gonna go with that one since I already kind of struggle with it, so nothing would really change. I especially can't look people in the eye when I don't like them as a person. So I already struggle with that one. So I don't think that much would be. And I love hugs. Hugs are my favorite thing. Never getting to hug my husband again would be the absolute worst. And if I could just have a phobia about not being able to look people in the eye, then I could just be like that. Well, no, it's a phobia of mine. Sorry. And it wouldn't be so obvious that I didn't like the person. I already struggle with both, so I could toss a coin at this point. Yeah, that's my tell, Jano. This whole face of mine is usually my tell. Anybody that is on here that actually knows me knows that this face gives it all the way pretty much every single time. I think hug. Yeah. I couldn't get rid of hugs. Is a cuddle a hug? That's a good question. I don't know. I've seen every look. There is photo evidence of me giving you some of those looks, Mandy. But not because I don't like you, but just you receive a lot of my looks, unfortunately. So does Scott. Don't worry. Scott receives many of my looks. The looks came from Oma. All the way. Your mom can't hide it either. We are very alike, Mandy. I'm just lucky. Yeah, if you search, I think it's my husband's, it's Scott's Instagram, but you have to go a ways back. There's a video of me giving a look. One of my family calls them Brittany looks. Apparently they're coined, but they call them Brittany looks. And there's a picture of me giving one because Mandy, who's on here, my sister-in-law, is jumping up behind me. Scott, I'm learning TikTok. I also am. I'm learning what people enjoy listening to me talk about. The looks are real. Yeah, he gets a lot of them. Scott claims that he can feel my looks without even looking at me. And I can attest to that because I've given him one while we were laying in bed, and he's laying the opposite direction and saying, I can feel you looking at me right now. So apparently they're pretty powerful. I mean, that's a talent. My friend is like that, and I always had to say, fix your face when she made them towards her boss. Yeah, let me tell you, being in the office, especially after COVID and everything, or at least after like shutdown, and being able to get so used to like just being on a virtual meeting without cameras or anything and letting my face just go, it was real hard to bring it back in, and it's still really hard. It was hard for me already because that's just who I am. I'm not a person that, like, if I feel a certain way, you're going to know. Like, it's going to be super duper obvious. And everybody's going to know. So it at work can be a struggle. My coworker Bessie usually starts dragging me away when I need to fix my face. I have been on meetings before where friends of mine and we're on camera, and I feel like they sometimes forget, and I will IM them on the side and be like, hey, just a reminder, you're on camera. P.S. Don't forget. So, because I don't want to see my friends get in trouble for something that I would do too. And I would hope that they would tell me too and save me from getting in trouble. But, all right, so there's another good one, and I already know my answer. So there's another good would you rather. And I think that the people that know me, and my family will know which one I'm going to pick. It says be able to fly or be able to become invisible. And now you might think that because of my Tourette syndrome and not liking to take in public that I would pick become invisible, but I would not. I would pick to be able to fly. And I have a story for this in my pap, who passed away in 2020, and who this bracelet came up in the last time too. I wear this bracelet for every single time. See, my mom commented tomorrow, and she's going to make me cry. I wear this bracelet for him, and he used to always tell us, especially when we were kids, like young kids, my pap used to always tell us that he was Superman and that he would teach us how to fly tomorrow. And so we would spend the night there a lot, especially if my cousins were in town and stuff like that. And we'd spend the night there. And so the next morning, we'd go and find him. We're like, Pap, it's tomorrow. Are you going to teach us how to fly? And he would say, no, tomorrow. I'll teach you tomorrow. And it was like a thing. So tomorrow never came. And he unfortunately passed away in 2020. So I would pick to fly because of him. And I would love it if he was the one who flew with me. All right. We're going to find a different question. We're going to find something else here. All right. Here's another good one. I love you too, Mandy. I feel like I have my answer for this one too, because I feel like I'm already this person basically. Be a hermit and only speak to another person once a month, or be a socializer and have to talk to 200 people every day. I would absolutely rather be a hermit because I basically already just talk to my husband every single day anyways. So far, he is not sick of me somehow. So that is what I would pick. Being a hermit is perfectly fine. I don't want to talk to 200 people every day. That's so many people. That's a lot of people in 1 week to talk to. So I hate that question, or I hate that option. I already talked to about 200 students a day. That's probably exhausting. I'm assuming. Chanel, I got my dog. Yeah, but do dogs count? Do I get my husband and my dogs that I get to talk to? Because if that's the case, then I'm definitely good. Because I talk to my dogs all day long. It's just me and them here all day. Better kidding, making little peers. All right, I have a question on YouTube. Did you ever get bullied about your TS? Honestly, not really. I've had a teacher kind of sort of bully me once, but he didn't know I had Tourette syndrome, and I was too afraid to tell him because he was really, really mean, and he had yelled at me to sit still. And I was too afraid to tell him I had Tourette syndrome because I didn't think he'd believe me. But not really. I was always like I don't say like loudmouth because that's not really, and we don't like that teacher. That is correct, Chanel. We do not like that teacher. I wrote about that in more detail in my book, and I can talk about that more too if you have more questions. But I've always been the kind of person that hasn't necessarily been afraid of calling people out. So I always also put my Tourette syndrome out there for everyone. I always try to put my Tourette syndrome out there, like in school and everything else, so people knew what I had. And in my opinion, like in my self image, I guess, that I had of myself, which I give to my parents for teaching me that, I put it out there so that way they didn't make something up. So at least if there was whispers or something about me, it was because I had Tourette syndrome. It wasn't like, oh, why does Brittany do that? Blah, 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 blah. And whenever I had been whenever I have been bullied or teased about anything at all, I was always the person that would go up to that person that was doing the talking about me and confront them to their face, because I noticed that a lot of times when they talked about you, they only ever had the guts to do it when you weren't around. So when I confronted them to their face, it seemed like that stopped a lot. And where I got the confidence and the guts to do that a lot of the time, I don't know. I think maybe there's a lot of anger stewing in this little body of mine. And when somebody talked about me, I tried to make it end really quickly. I got teased a lot for being short. And I mean, that's not to say that people didn't talk about me for having Tourette syndrome. They very well could have. I don't know. Maybe those ones just didn't get to me. But I also had a girl talk about me and say a bunch of stupid stuff about me because her boyfriend was in my class once. But no, so. And I guess I had the guts to confront people that weren't teachers. I should say that, since I said the teacher was the person who did that to me. But teachers, they were the scary part. If anyone is interested in Maureen's story, you can check it out in her book. I'm telling you, Janelle, number one hype person. Thank you so much. You're like basically my agent in here. All right, so I'm gonna go back. Good questions. Hopefully the bullied one was a good enough answer. I feel like that's an easier said than done kind of thing. And it's always just been like, don't get me wrong, sometimes I said things and my voice shook when I said them, but I was always willing to tell people that if they're gonna talk about me, you're gonna at least have the guts to do it to my face too. Do you think dance gave you some of your confidence? Yeah, maybe, because I was so used to being in front of people. That's possible. I mean, it definitely was where I felt the most powerful and the most in control. That's a really good question, Janet. I think it definitely had something to do with it. I will say that the girl that didn't like me that I confronted made fun of me for dancing, and I did tell her that she was stupid for that, because that's such a dumb thing to make fun of me for. And that's exactly what I told her when I asked her about it. I told her to try to get some new material next time so that maybe people would actually laugh. But maybe it is why I got some of my confidence. I mean, I felt the most confident dancing, and I had to really put myself out there for some of those dance moves, because when you dance competitively, for people who don't know, you really have to have a lot of facial expressions and everything else and put yourself out there. So that could be it. My comeback. I was fired up, and I was tired of her talking about me, because she would do it. So this was when MySpace was still a thing, and she did it on MySpace comments, as if I, like, to her and her stupid little friends, as if I couldn't see them. At one point, she took my face, and I'm not lying, cut my face out of a picture, cut his face out of a picture. Her boyfriend, mind you, that I had absolutely no interest in. He was just in my class. He sat behind me in class, and there was only 8 of us in the class, because it was German class, and not a lot of people took it, unfortunately. And she shook her faces out and said, like, oh, something about me dancing or something. Like, the most childish, dumbest things, and then made fun of me for being short and said some other nasty things that I won't say on here. So I see, Scott. Scott can tell I'm getting fired up just thinking about it. But I had went to class the one day, and it was still in between bells, so I put my books down to go to the bathroom real quick, because I'd always put my books down first, so that if I was late coming back, the teacher knew I at least came to the class. I just had to use the restroom real quick. And when I was walking out of a hallway, she was walking like this, and so I just decided, I'm like, you know what? Now's the time. We're going to put an end to this right here. So I confronted her in the hallway, and she at least was smarter about talking about me, I guess, because I never saw it or heard it again. So if she did it again, she was at least smarter about it moving forward. So yeah, I think that's also why, because people ask me how I handle, like, mean comments on the internet and stuff so often. I think that might be why. Now, that's not to say that they don't get to me, because they do. On TikTok, for example, I have certain words filtered out so that I just don't see them, so that they don't get to my head. But it's also why I just delete comments, because I'm not going to allow people to live that free in my head. So I delete their comments. They're not going to get the rise out of me like they want to. Not on the internet. In person, maybe, but on the internet, that's where I draw the line. I won't fight on the internet. Not for everybody to see, anyway, and put their 2 cents in. All right, so I'm going to ask another question. So never wait. So this one's a good one. Never wait in line again, or never get stuck in traffic again. I think never get stuck in traffic, personally. Waiting in line is really annoying too, but getting stuck in traffic, you're wasting gas at that point. Stupid people are trying to swerve around you. They're trying to get off on the other side that's not even an actual lane. So I would rather never get stuck in traffic ever again, especially when I was going. Never wait in line, because that includes traffic. Ooh, loophole. Traffic, even though half the time I'm being paid to sit there. Yeah. I would rather not get stuck in traffic. All right. Ew, this one's gross. So I was talking earlier about how I don't like feet, and this one's, like, right about it, and it's under the fear one, so I'm just saying I'm not alone. Would you rather, this is gross to me. Slip your bare feet into the most ooh, slip your bare feet into a very moist pair of old bowling shoes, or walk barefoot in a gas station bathroom. I hate both of those. Hopefully you heard that, because I'm not going to read it again, because that's super disgusting. I hate both of those things. Mandy? We're going lazy river with feet out. No. Somebody's gross feet almost touched my head when we were in the lazy river at my bachelorette party, and it was disgusting. And I wanted to push the lady off her stupid little floaty in the lazy river, because she saw me there and she didn't try to move at all. I'm just saying. We're going to go to the next question. Mandy, why are you encouraging her? Yeah, you guys, Scott has to deal with me all fired up after this. All right, I'm going to switch the question now. The next one is, would you rather sleep in a human-sized nest in a tree or in a burrow underground? So, would you rather sleep every night in a human-sized nest in a tree or in a burrow under the ground? I think I would take the tree. Yeah, Janelle, I always wanted a tree house. I kind of did too. Again, my papa, he kind of sort of made one for us before. It just wasn't up in a tree. It was down like made out of the trees from his yard, basically, and it was really, really cool. But I think a human-sized nest, it sounds like cozy. For whatever reason, the first thought that came to my head are those the like it's essentially like a human dog bed that you can get now on Amazon, and that was what came to my head, I guess, but it would be a little different, I guess, as a nest. However, that was the first thought that came to me, and that's exactly why. Thanks for the rose, babe. Underground is safer. That's very, very true. Underground, you probably would be safer, but wouldn't there be more like little bugs crawling all over you, maybe? Yeah, see, Shannon, yeah. Worms and snakes. You just explained why I went tree first, because I hate worms and I hate snakes. They give me the heebie-jeebies, both of them. Blech. I'm being asked on YouTube how tall you are. I'm 4'11 or 4'10. Sorry, I just accidentally lied and gave myself an inch. I'm 4'10. But no for tornadoes. Yeah, very true. I wouldn't want to be in the tree for the tornadoes. However, I would live in my whole house underground. I used to want to have my entire house built underground. Like, I used to want the whole thing to be underground because I am so irrationally afraid of tornadoes. I used to want the whole house to be underground. And actually, when we were building this house, I asked how deep our basement could go. And I almost paid extra so that they would build or dig my basement even deeper so that I could be safer during the tornadoes that we never have in Ohio. We have warnings and stuff a lot, but I was this close to paying extra to have my basement be as deep as allowed to go. So I'd feel even safer. One time at camp, I picked up a worm and it was actually sick. No, Chanel, what? Ugh. Thunder Buddy, yes. Yes, yes, yes. No tornadoes in Washington, just earthquakes. I was out in Washington in 2022. Yes, 2022. I went out to Seattle, my husband and I and my mother-in-law. No earthquakes while we were there, thankfully, but it just seemed to have a general mist in the air in Seattle the entire time we were there. Hello from Ohio. Hi. Oh. Oh, I didn't realize that was you. Of course you know that we were there. We visited you when we were there. Sorry, I can't see the pictures very well on my phone. So it probably wasn't a surprise that I was there. All right. So another one. So all right, this next one is appearance/embarrassment category. Have a complete set of removable dentures or a full set of fang-shaped teeth. I would have the removable dentures in a heartbeat. I always joke and say that I'm gonna eventually get dentures anyway because my teeth hate me. I take such good care of them, and they hate me back. So, but yeah. So I have a complete set of removable dentures or a full set of fang-shaped teeth. I would rather have the dentures. How do you prepare yourself if you know you will be in a stressful situation or around large crowds? I kind of just this is gonna be a bad answer, but I honestly just kind of hope for the best. Sometimes I will do so I do some guided meditation things, and I feel like that sounds like such a like whatever answer. But I will try to do those sometimes if I know I'm going into a stressful situation just to at least help me first. But I also have in this apparently is the one room I don't have it in, I don't think. I was able to pull the biofreeze out instantly, but I don't have my rescue remedy in here. But I use this stuff called Rescue Remedy. It is a all natural thing. It does have like some alcoholic content in it. It's not an alcoholic drink or anything, but it's an all natural like dropper. And I think they have spray and stuff too. So Rescue Remedy if you want to sponsor a girl. But I would take this Rescue Remedy and I will put it directly under my tongue, or I will put it in my water and drink that. So that's what I will do. I would always have it in my work bag. I have it on my end table in the living room. So I basically always have it at an arm's reach. And you can get it on Amazon. You can get it directly on their website too, I think. But they come in little bottles, and you can put it in your water. You can put it directly in your tongue whenever that might be needed. And going back to the tornado topic, when there's really, really bad storms, I have to put it under my tongue because I get freaked out. I'm afraid of tornadoes happening. So I put that under my tongue. Or sometimes when I'm having a tick attack, my husband will go and grab it for me so I can get it and get it put under my tongue so that I can calm down. So if I know I'm going into one of those situations, or if I know I'm just kind of like on like a high strung day, I will put that in my water and just have it flowing through me the whole day, basically. Really, really good question. My son has a neck tick. He's 15. What age did yours start? So I've had different neck ticks throughout pretty much my whole life. When I was really young, so I was diagnosed when I was 7. And when I was really young, I used to flick my neck back really, really hard. And I don't want to do it with my neck because I really don't want it to come back. I have this one now where it is like the stretching of my neck. I just call it my neck stretching tick. So it kind of like morphed into that. It's become more complex, but also moved in a slower motion. But I used to really flick. So this is my head. I used to really flick like my neck back over and over and over again. And then I used to also flip my head all the way down and flip it back up with my neck. That was another really big one for me when I was younger. But yeah, that was uh, it's been around pretty much forever. Other ticks started when he was 5, but 15 for his neck ones. Yeah, and they can come and go. So they could go away, they could stay, they could develop into a different kind of neck tick, kind of like mine. Mine has the neck tick has always been there, but it's kind of changed throughout the years. But I have also developed new ticks within a day. Sometimes they stick around, sometimes they never come back. My daughter has Tourette's, so I'm always looking for ways to help her out. That stuff is good. That Rescue Remedy stuff, I've been using that. My aunt showed that to my mom and I for me a long time ago. Like I said, there is some like alcohol content in it, so you need to probably watch that, obviously, but I don't think it's enough for it to be like a big thing. The doctor tell us he'll grow out of it. Is that not true? So like Janelle was saying, they always say that, and it's annoying, low-key annoying. It could or could not. So, this is something that I do not enjoy that doctors say. I was told when I was younger that my tics would go away in my 20s. I was ecstatic about knowing that one day these tics were gonna go away, and then that day never came. I got to my 20s, and unfortunately for me, and I don't say this to make anybody scared or make them worry or anything like that. I just wish that doctors were more realistic and just say that it's a possibility, but and honestly, I would rather them say it's a possibility but unlikely. So that way you're thinking the opposite, and then if they do go away, great. But I was so excited about my tics going away in my 20s. Like some of like my bad days, I remember telling myself like once we get into our 20s, like this all goes away, Brittany. Like I think I thought, now mind you, some of this was probably the me being naive and being a little kid. Like I'm pretty sure in my head it was like the day I turned 20, ticks are gone. Um, and my ticks got worse. And for me, I think that makes sense because I'm more stressed out as an adult. In my adult life, I'm way more stressed out than I was a kid, and stress is a huge trigger for me. And I was going to college, I was getting married, I was buying a house, and all these things. So that was adding into it. But just also in general, my ticks are worse now than they were when I was a kid. They're not as boisterous. I don't have like the huge jumping ticks and all that anymore, but I have a lot more ticks throughout the day. And I wasn't even on medication for my Tourette syndrome until I was 18, when I was my senior year of high school, and then in college. So yeah, I was devastated when my ticks actually got worse and didn't go away. And I'm not saying that your son's ticks will get worse necessarily when he gets older, but one of my theories about ticks in adults or people with Tourette syndrome being told that their ticks are going to go away is that when we get older, we have kind of figured out how to at least manage day to day with our Tourette syndrome, so we don't see neurologists as much. And so I think for whatever, because of that, like we get almost pulled out of the equation. And so I think people tend to think that, oh, well, if they're not going to these doctors, they're not going and seeing them, they must not have it anymore. Now, mind you, that's just like a theory of mine. But because adults aren't seeking out neurologists as often, because we just have a way with how we are working with it, that we don't get put into that mix. And for whatever reason, that makes people think that they actually went away. And they didn't, unfortunately. So that is one of those things. One of my theories, I should say. Do you have any ticks that have been with you from the beginning? Yes. My stomach contraction tick has been with me since the day I remember ticking for the first time. My stomach contraction tick was a tick that I did for the first time. Or I'm sorry, that was the tick that I had. It was my first conscious tick that I had, where I felt that I have such a hard time saying that word. Where I felt the urge to tick before I did it. And it was one of, and so I felt the pressure in my stomach. And so contracting my stomach, that tick has also grown a little bit more complex. So when I do it, I tend to move my shoulders and stuff and my hands sometimes too. But my stomach ticks have been with me for as long as I can remember, literally, because that is the first tick I remember doing. Where the ticks that I had before that, I didn't realize were ticks, and I didn't realize what was happening. So I didn't realize that my body was doing something out of my control necessarily. But that stomach one was one of those ticks. Eye blinking and neck ticks have been there since their beginning. Oh yeah, I guess that too. My neck ticks have basically been there since the beginning. Just they've changed a lot over the years. Yeah, it's called Rescue Remedy. Thank you, Scott. Yep, it's called Rescue Remedy. You can only get it in like a 10 or like maybe a 20-ounce bottle of it, I think. But it's good stuff. I have it around everywhere. It is my like saving grace. Again, it doesn't like make ticks disappear. It doesn't make all of my stress and my worry and my anxiety disappear, but it does take the edge off. And so on those bad days, it's really good for me to have. Like when I'm having a stressful day or I know I'm about to have a stressful day, my mom and my husband generally both ask me, like, do you have your rescue remedy with you? Like, can you take your rescue remedy? So I have it with me everywhere. I have it in every bag. How do I order some? You can get it right off of Amazon. There's different kinds. There's like a comfort there's like a comfort one. There's like a stress relief one. And I've used both interchangeably. So they both tend to do the same thing for me. But yeah, Amazon has them. I actually have it on a subscribe and save. Hello, how are you doing? Your video was so sweet with your dog trying to comfort you. Thank you. That's my little Chandler girl. She is the sweetest when she's not being a little menace to everything else in my life. No, she is wonderful. I am obsessed with her. But yeah, her doing that really made me want to cry. Yes, thank you for pinning the link to it. But yeah, it's just Rescue Remedy, RESCUE, Remedy, REMEDY. You can type it right into Amazon, you'll find it. I believe they actually do have like socials and stuff like that. So once again, I've been saying forever that I'm basically a walking ad for Rescue Remedy. So, Rescue Remedy right here. I will make content for you day in and day out. Give a give your girl a sponsorship. um, but yeah. All right. Well, everybody, this one was another really good one. I have been on here for like an hour and 15 minutes, so I think I'm going to call it a night. I need to go shower and pass out because I'm exhausted. But thank you so much for everybody for joining. I've had some people on here that don't normally join, so thank you. It was great. I will do it again next week. Next week, Janelle, you and me will go ahead and go live and do this together. So thanks everybody. I hope you all have a great night.